Hi everyone. Welcome to Secrets Behind the Stars. All the twists and turns are in today's video, so make sure you're subscribed and share if you want more of these deep dives into the stories everyone's whispering about. The entertainment press has been set alight once again, and this time it's because Demet Özdemir quietly cleared out a series of photos with her longtime on and off partner, Can Yaman, from her social media. In minutes, screenshots started circulating, fans sounded the alarm, and the rumor mill launched into overdrive. Was this a breakup notice? A rebrand? Or something more complicated and personal? As the dust settled, whispers from people close to the situation suggested it wasn't a simple social media tactic. The decision, we're told, traces back to family sensitivities, specifically, Demet's father and his health. Sources claim that certain images, especially those that felt more intimate and unguarded, didn't sit well with him. He allegedly cautioned her about the exposure, the noise, the endless commentary that follows even a harmless caption. One warning turned into a difficult conversation, and that conversation reportedly led to Demet's careful deletion of select posts. Fans split almost instantly. Some praised Demet for listening to her family and upholding the boundaries that keep a private life intact amid the chaos of fame. Others took it as a bad omen, reading the move as a sign of strain between Demet and Can. The question that echoed across Instagram comments and Twitter threads was the same: why did Demet and Can make this decision now? The timing only added to the intrigue. Projects are moving, brand deals are active, and visibility is everything in their world. Can Yaman, characteristically calm in public storms, has refrained from issuing a statement. His silence has not stopped older images and fan-captured moments from continuing to surface. The internet never fully forgets. Media watchers say this is telling. If the goal were to erase their story, the sweep would have been broader, colder, unmistakable. Instead, what we're seeing is a surgical removal of images that cross a line only the family can see. It looks like an attempt to protect a relationship that must balance two careers, thousands of opinions, and one fragile heart, her father's. Behind the scenes, those who know the couple describe a familiar pattern. Demet prioritizes the emotional climate around her, and Can, who can command a room with just a look, respects the gravity of what family means to her. Friends of Can whisper that he understands the choice, that he knows how much Demet weighs her father's wishes. The two have navigated peaks and valleys in the public eye before. This time, the emotion runs closer to home. Without a joint statement, speculation multiplies, but the quiet from both sides suggests something other than drama. It suggests care. As the tabloids picked up the scent, a wave of think pieces followed. Some called it a soft reset, a way to set new boundaries without torching the past. Others spun it into a full-blown crisis. Yet, from the pattern of deletions, a different story emerges. Images from private settings, holidays, family dinners, candid moments, seem to have been targeted, while public events and professional snapshots remain scattered across the web. That's not accidental. It speaks to a line drawn in the sand. The home is off limits. Insiders say the turning point was a difficult family visit. Demet's father, already dealing with health concerns, reportedly found himself overwhelmed by the swell of attention around particular photos. He worried about the weight of it on Demet, and on the family. When those you love are ill, the noise of celebrity feels louder and heavier. In that conversation, boundaries were raised like protective walls, and Demet, who has always worn respect for her family like a second skin, chose to act. Of course, the internet had its say. Some commenters flooded timelines with support, writing about how choosing family is never a weakness. Others read meaning into every removed image, a glance, a pose, a caption. Was there a hidden message? A coded goodbye? Rumor pages posted collages and timelines. Fans across the globe built theories from pixels. Yet even in the frenzy, a calmer narrative persisted. This isn't a breakup announcement, it is a recalibration. Industry experts remind us that the lives of stars like Demet Özdemir and Can Yaman exist at the intersection of reality and story. Media, branding, and intimacy must share a table, and not every seat can be comfortable. Professional advisors often recommend filtering content during sensitive periods, not as a denial of love, but as a shield against scrutiny that can add stress where stress already lives. If Demet's father asked for quiet, then quiet had to be created. Another layer, insiders say, is that the couple values private rituals. The photos that disappeared were less about glamour and more about life: hands around coffee cups, laughter in unguarded corners, a shoulder leaned on after a long day. Those moments belong to them, and perhaps to a worried parent who wants to see his daughter sleep well and breathe free of the relentless glare. Demet's choice signals that her love story with Can is not content, it is a life being defended from overexposure. Can's team has remained tight-lipped. Those close to him insist he is steady, focused on work, and supportive. The absence of an official line has opened the door to speculation, but it has also allowed the couple to avoid stoking the fire. Meanwhile, older posts, fan edits, and event videos continue to circulate, a reminder that the relationship's history is indelible in the minds of those who followed it. The deletions, limited and deliberate, suggest a boundary, not an erasure. As the news spread, the question hardened into a refrain: why did Demet and Can make this decision? On X and Instagram, the phrase appeared again and again, as if repetition could conjure answers. Some insisted it was a sign of a pending announcement. Others argued this is what maturity looks like in the public eye: lowering the volume when a loved one needs rest, pausing the celebration so that real life can breathe. Reading between the lines, the message is clear. Demet's heart is divided only in the sense that it holds both romance and family with fierce devotion. A father's warning, delivered under the shadow of illness, weighs more than 1 million likes. She pressed delete not on the relationship, but on the distractions that can fray it. And in a world where every intimate image is dissected, eliminating a few pieces can preserve the whole. Magazine commentators have floated the idea that this is also about timing. With projects in the pipeline for both stars, they may be seeking to differentiate the personal from the promotional. A curated presence eases negotiations, protects endorsements, and keeps headlines from piling up where they don't belong. If the couple is protecting their privacy, then the silence is a strategy, not a surrender. For fans, the emotional ride hasn't been easy. People invest in these love stories. They celebrate the smiles and memorize the glances. But there's a maturity, too, in the fandom's shifting tone. As more details about family sensitivities surfaced, comment sections filled with messages of compassion. The disappointment softened, replaced by a kind of protective pride. Demet's choice didn't diminish the romance, it made it feel more real. The public image of Can and Demet has always been dynamic: he's magnetic and bold, she's luminous and grounded. Together, they draw attention without trying. That, of course, has been as much a blessing as a burden. With attention comes pressure, on them as a couple, and on the families who never chose this level of visibility. Respecting those families is, in its own way, an act of love between the two of them. There's also the practical reality that social media posts, once shared, take on a life of their own. Archival fan pages, digital tabloids, and algorithms keep images alive long after they're removed. The fact that some photos remain in circulation emphasizes that this was never about rewriting history. It was about trimming back the branches that encroached on a private garden. What remains is enough to honor their story without exposing its most delicate corners. Observers noticed something else: the deletions were paced, not frantic. A gradual recalibration, not a midnight purge. That nuance matters. It tells you this was a conversation, an agreement, a promise made in soft voices rather than a dramatic exit. In that light, the story reads as an affirmation of priorities. Health first. Family first. The relationship preserved by stepping out of the loudest room in the house. Even as the headlines continue, those close to the couple believe this chapter will eventually be remembered as a boundary-setting moment, not a breaking point. If anything, choosing privacy when it counts may help the relationship withstand the pressures of fame. The silence, frustrating as it can be for onlookers, protects what still unfolds behind closed doors. Demet's fans, passionate and vocal, have shown their evolution. Some are curating their own spaces with greater restraint, refraining from reposting the more personal images, joining her in drawing a respectful line. Others are compiling the couple's public milestones. A premiere here, a red carpet there, reminding everyone that not all love needs a lens to validate it. Support has shifted from demanding content to honoring boundaries. As for Can, insiders describe his approach as measured. He's never been a stranger to intense scrutiny, and he understands how quickly narratives can spin out of control. Letting this wave pass without feeding it may be the most elegant move he can make. In that choice, there's trust. Trust in Demet, in their connection, and in the parts of their life that are not meant for mass consumption. So where does that leave us? Waiting, watching, and trying to read shadows on a wall. The couple has not provided a detailed explanation, but the shape of the story is visible. Demet acted out of care for her father and for the fragile peace he needs. Can, by not contradicting the gesture, stands beside her. And the internet, restless as ever, must make room for the possibility that not every love story is a public performance. The lesson is simple but rare in this world: editing isn't erasing. It's choosing what to protect. Those who have followed Demet and Can for years know that their chemistry does not depend on a feed. It thrives in the life they build when the cameras are gone, in the quiet corners where a glance says more than a caption ever could. The media will keep buzzing, of course. There will be fresh angles, speculative pieces, and recycled headlines. But the core remains unchanged. Family sensitivities mattered here, deeply. Demet's decision was anchored in respect. And if some fans felt blindsided at first, many now recognize the strength it takes to set limits in a culture that rewards overexposure. Whether this moment fades into the background or marks a turning point, it already speaks volumes. It reminds us that love between two public figures must sometimes be guarded by the simplest of acts: saying no, closing a door, pressing delete. If that helps a father rest easier and gives a couple a little more room to breathe, then it's a choice worth making. All eyes are on the next move. Will there be a joint note to still the noise? Perhaps. Or perhaps the quiet will continue, and the work, and the life beyond the scroll. For now, the message reads like a whisper. The relationship is theirs, the family is sacred, and the public can admire without demanding a key. And that brings us to the end of today's story from Secrets Behind the Stars. If you found this deep dive illuminating, don't forget to subscribe and share. We'll keep watching, carefully and respectfully, as Demet Özdemir and Can Yaman write the next chapter, on their terms, at their pace, with the grace of two people protecting what matters most.